Wet my whistle. Hello, everybody. We are so close to episode 100 of Jabber Jawn, we can almost reach out and grab it. It's all my kids talk about now. Daddy, 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 can we be on the 100th episode to celebrate this major achievement with you? Of course, I quickly discourage their nonsensical talk and ask them to leave me alone in peace to brush my stash and powder my feet. Ain't got no time for them meddling kids. They'll be lucky if years from now they are enjoying a summer buzz and see me across the street in a parking lot shopping for a boat. Tyler, Samantha, and Big Dookie, I love you. I love them all, but don't be bothering me now. Anyway, tonight on Jabber Jawn, we will be reminiscing about events so far back you'll have no recollection of what we are talking about. So make sure you record this episode on a VHS tape so you can review later for historical or cultural inaccuracies. My memory is foggy, and the Moors enjoy spinning a yarn to make themselves seem of less significance than they actually were. We might be using fake names and wearing disguises tonight. If you stop by the studio, you will be frisked by security for recording devices and instruments used to detect deception by measuring our vocal frequencies. Other than that, it's just another Thursday night at Wilner's Lounge on the corner of Delphine and 42nd. Pull up a stool and order around. If you got something to say, shout it out, as we rarely stop talking ourselves. Wings are half price and ladies drink for free until 8. Tip the coat check and parking attendant staff. Without them, we'd never be able to do all this. Episode 100 is fast upon us. Get ready. It's not tonight, so don't get too worked up yet. Talk to you soon. I wrote my number inside the matchbox I just handed you, so it's in your call. And we're live!
Yeah! Three little frogs sitting on a log. One of them fell in. One frog said to the other frog, well, you better go get her. Two little frogs sitting on a log. One of them fell in. Last little frog, he sat and thought, good thing they can swim. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn. Three little frogs sitting on a log. One burst into a grin. One frog said to the other frog, wonder what's got into him. Two little frogs sitting on a log. One laughed until he is red. Last little frog, he sat and thought, must have been something I said. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn. Jabber Jawn.
Oh, don't touch it.
I got it. And we're live. Hopefully we're live. Lexa's at a basketball game over at JMU, so we don't have our producer tonight, so we're controlling it all ourselves. So we're going to need your help out there. Let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us, and someone say hey to us on the chat so we can see if the chats are working. But meanwhile, let's just jump in as if everything's working as expected and as it should. Hello, I'm Nathan Moore.
I'm Kyle Hogg. I'll be checking my phone, so send me your requests.
He's in charge of the chats.
I'm Steve Moore.
And you're watching Jabber Jawn. Good to be back with you. It's been too long. When I changed the date over there, I didn't have to change the numbers, which I thought was a little weird because I thought it had been 3 weeks, but maybe we missed 3 so that it is 4 weeks. But the math was perfect. I just had to change the month. According to the calendar, last time we were together was February 27th. and it's now March 27th. A perfect
It was
month.
a lifetime ago.
It was a perfect month.
He looks like
That pipe. I don't know. That's a whole new. Just
we're gonna solve a crime.
everybody.
I
Let's just
think.
take a moment here and zoom in on Dad, because this is. I don't even know who this is. When Kethler came down earlier, I was like, "That's Dad," because she thought we got a new ringer up in here for a new show. But no, that's Dad over there.
One of the leading authors from the 1870s. We have him on here now to discuss his new book.
How's that? That's the pipe Willie T. Taylor gave me. Is it working?
I love this pipe. It's been very functional so far.
It looks good on you. You feel like you're holding it in a whole new way.
It feels good.
Man.
Yeah.
Is that a new way of holding it?
Or does it just look different because the stem's so
I've
long?
never had a stem this long, so it feels better to hold it a little higher. But it's also the lighting. I didn't want when the flame gets into your flesh,
Oh, that's the worst.
sometimes that hurts.
Yeah, that
You know,
smarts.
Depending on how much you've been drinking, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's going to hurt eventually.
So I kept my finger up a little away from it.
Yeah, that's cool.
They all light a little differently. But this has been real nice. I forgot or lost the one I brought, and Nathan let me have this one that Willie T gave him, and I'm trying it out. And
Yeah, that was a
it looks good on
50th
you.
birthday present. He sent it in the mail. It was a very sweet gesture.
That was a great gesture.
Yeah.
And
And I tried it for a couple of weeks, but I just never got the hang of it. And
well, if I get a funeral or something special I want to impress people with, I'd like to borrow it.
yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
What's the actual nicotine that you get from that? Do you get much, you think?
I don't think you get too much, but I was thinking about that the other night, because at the same time, you say you're not inhaling, which is all good, and it does. You don't get that hot gas into your lungs, and that's got to be healthy. But on the other hand, I'm watching the wafts, the smoke going up, and I'm realizing that I am surrounded by smoke. So, and I'm breathing that smoke in. So,
Right.
So
You
I'm
gotta
getting
be.
my own secondhand smoke.
Right.
So I'm definitely getting some in my lungs too. I don't know if it's enough to register in terms of nicotine.
It must seep a little bit through the mouth too, right?
Well, for the pipe smoker, it's a taste sense thing too, and the nicotine gets into your system through the tissue of your body too.
Right.
So
sort of like
that
my
is-
nicotine gum must be like sort of seeping.
You're taking it, so the whole idea about tasting food and everything is there's a sense of taste, but it's also smell. So all of those are connected in there, and yeah, some of that nicotine is getting in through your mouth when you're smoking this.
So you think like for someone that's only ever smoked a pipe, there's probably still a little bit of a nicotine addiction involved with their habit.
I don't. Yeah, that's a good point, and I've thought about that, because I don't have any trouble not smoking a pipe.
Right.
So it tells me I'm not really addicted to it.
It's like a milder
And
version.
what I am more addicted to, I think, and I can't really say that for sure, but a lot of what you're talking about is the habit of the feeling you get when you're in your comfortable space, smoking your pipe, looking at the world. It's a meditative time, and it's soothing. So that soothing effect of being in control of something or whatever, there's the ritual of the experience. That's a big part of it,
a
I
big
think.
part of it.
And,
Even for smokers, that ritual part
Yeah.
is.
I've been one of the things I found out that I've been having trouble finding shows I like to watch. More modern shows tend to be too predictable and too boring to
Right.
me, because I just feel like I've seen so many shows and all. Just in a way, it's like been there, done that after about 15 minutes. But I have gotten hooked on it when in a certain mood, I'll go to the channel and I pull up this old 1940s British Sherlock Holmes
Oh, wow.
series.
1940s Sherlock Holmes.
And it's classic.
And it's just called Sherlock Holmes?
Well, you can find it's on the Prime, that Bit Prime thing.
Is it Basil Rathbone? Or is it Basil Rathbone playing?
No, it's somebody else. They have this, but it's a half-hour.
Who's Basil Rathbone?
He played one on the movies.
Yeah, he was.
And he was the movie Sherlock Holmes.
But in the same era?
Probably.
40s?
Yeah. I'm thinking this is 40s.
Wow.
Or they're trying to make it look like the 40s.
Right.
You know, but it's definitely before my time.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone, and it's British, and I've realized how funny they are.
Right.
But Dr. Watson in this was he's the physical guy, but he's a little chubby guy and with a mustache and balding. And he is the one, when they get into a fight, he's the one that takes over and beats the other guy. But he's the muscles.
Sort of like the bodyguard.
Yeah, and they just have this real interesting relationship. But the only reason I brought it up has nothing to do with any of the things I just said. But what I was really getting at was they both smoke a pipe every moment of the show. They're both taken out and looking, they're playing while they're doing all their lines. So I'm comfortable watching two British guys in 1940 smoking a pipe. It just makes me feel, and then they're funny, and it's.
What is the classic, in the Sherlock Holmes pipe, sort of an iconic style?
Yeah,
is it a long stem?
It's a long stem. Probably not this long, but it's more of a bend to it.
More of a bend,
Didn't he
hangs
have a
straight
big
down.
bowl?
Yeah, and he had a bigger bowl too.
Is
So
he
he had
smoking
a
that
shorter
kind?
stem, but more of a U thing. Yeah.
Right. So,
I've
so
got
it's sort of straight
several of
down, and then it like.
Yeah. I got one someone gave me recently, and I have trouble lighting it because it's too tight in here.
All right.
Well, that bowl seems thicker than the one you used to. The other ones you usually. Smoke.
Yeah, this is a thick, round. They have different shapes, but this one holds its light good. I just smoked it for a good,
that's great.
good 15 minutes.
It's just nice seeing that thing get some love.
Oh, it's getting it, definitely. I love it.
Before I forget, I was thinking about the nicotine addiction thing. One thing I found interesting with this nicotine gum I'm using is they have different. You can get 2 milligrams or 4 milligrams, and the way they package it on the box, it says, if you have a cigarette within 2 hours of waking up or something, you'll want this one, the 4 milligrams.
Oh wow.
If you don't have your first cigarette of the day until after 2 hours, you want the 2 milligrams. So that's how they determined how strong a gum you want, is how soon after you wake up in the morning do you have your first cigarette. And definitely back when I was a smoker, it was as soon as possible.
Now, have you tried different?
Got to make the coffee first. But
Have you tried different brands, or you just found one?
yeah, but it's all about the flavor. We tried several. I had this when I first started. We had a box of gum that was like 10 years old.
Oh wow.
And so I was pretty psyched to try a current box, but I really love the flavor of the 10-year-old stuff. So the first box she got me, I was like, oh, this is not nearly as good as the 10-year-old stuff. And so then we started trying every venue, CVS, different stores, online and stuff, trying to get the...
Now, where do you buy it at? You don't buy it in the candy section, do you? Is it with the, where do you...
You have to behind the counter.
Oh, it
at
is?
CVS or whatever.
Oh, wow.
It's Yeah, I think you need to be 18 to buy it, so they don't have it out there. We haven't done the arriving song yet.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
so caught up in the smoke. Dancing tonight.
Need Lex here for the reverb vibes. You want to control the camera while I do this? You.
I don't know how to do this
I
stuff.
don't know how to switch back and forth between me and y'all's reactions and your singing.
We'll just have to be loud.
So I can take a nap over
Yeah,
it.
you can actually take a look. You can doze off.
We're going to step outside if you don't mind.
Where'd they go? It's hard to write a protest song, to love your enemy, to know right from wrong. And it's hard to know what to say in such strange company. Who to Jesus pray while sending children to their graves. He was not a soldier, Jesus saves. Show me where he ever said the righteous should be warriors, the wicked should be dead. Oh, hypocrites, you boil my blood, worshiping war planes, posing for good, kneeling on Sunday in your three-piece suit, commanding on Monday your guns to shoot. Makes you worse by far than any I know. So how do I love thee? How do I go? I sing for my living, I sing for my Lord. I know a song can be a prayer, I know a song can be a soul. So I know how hard it can be to choose. Oh, Mr. President, just looking at you, it's hard not to write a protest song, to love your enemy, to know right from wrong. And it's hard to know what to say in such strange company. Who to Jesus pray. Yep. Sorry if that audio was peeking out or whatever is going on out there. Without Lex, it's hard to know what's going on. But that was a very old song. That the sad thing is, I feel like I wrote that song probably 20 years ago, and it's rung true every time I've sung it, every year since then. One way or another, had little slight modifications to the lyrics, but all in all, it still sort of works. With some presidents, I've changed the line to like, hey, I knocked on doors for you. What the hell's going on? That was like when Obama was president. Because I think I wrote that during the Iraq War with Bush. Then you had Obama in there, who I loved, but at the same time with the drone war and stuff, there was all kinds of stuff that was going on that was, protest songs still rang true. It's always rung true. I can't wait till that song is, I sing it and people are like, what is he talking about? I cannot relate to this sentiment at all. This is ridiculous. It's a beautiful world.
He's singing old-timey music.
That's one of them old folk songs.
I got it printed in a book somewhere.
Have you seen a chat yet? Is it working?
Oh, Kether was on there, so.
Oh, good.
I like your start. Who is that young man across from you?
Tell us about, this is quite a transformation from the last time that we saw you.
What did you say?
Somebody wants us to introduce the youngest member of the group
The
tonight.
dashing young man on stage right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Tell us the story of this transformation here. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, you worked it out. It was your barber. And should we say her name?
Does she want us to? Did you ask her about that?
I didn't ask her. I didn't ask permission.
I know she's not looking for new clients, but
Well, she's
she's wonderful. She does watch the show from time to time too.
yeah. Well, I don't know if I told her I was going to mention her or not, but I thought about it.
Just don't
But
bother.
at any rate, she came to the house and she took on the beard and the rest of me and was real nice about it. And I ended up realizing that her father-in-law was an old friend, and so we got along. Nice to hear about him, and
That's great.
he's doing well, and so it was real nice. And I told her originally that I wanted to go from being a homeless man to a lawyer.
Mission accomplished.
I was going to wear a coat and tie tonight, but then I said, well, you know what I said.
It is a
I
remarkable.
didn't say it anymore. I've made up my mind not to say that anymore.
Say what?
Yeah, you tried.
See,
See, I'm too good.
it's a remarkable transformation. It looks
is.
great. You can't see the back, but the back looks incredible.
Yeah, well, it's really, I like it. I don't think I'll need another haircut in this lifetime.
I was telling them she did a great job on both y'all's beards.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes the mind pointy. I went to her for years before I realized she could do the beard too, and now it's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Do either one of y'all use beard soap and wax and all that stuff, or you don't use that?
No,
No,
I
I
still-
use a comb every once in a while and get the peanut butter out.
I'm still very bad at my beard maintenance. I feel like every time I try to shape it, I end up messing it up. I did it for years with the electric thing, and that was just so dangerous because just like one false move and this, like, oh God, now you got to make the rest of it match that mistake. So then you hit me too that you use scissors. And I was like, oh. So I like bought special beard scissors. But
Trim her up.
now that I know that
What does she
the
use?
barber will do it, that's my new move.
Does she
I
use
gave up
electric?
on trying to do it myself. All the above. She mostly electric, I guess.
She does some electric, but she also does the trim, little scissors.
We were watching.
It must have felt good for you just because I know that you always had your hair cut in your own kitchen by Nana did it for a long time, right?
Nana did my hair. I've had different people give me different haircuts.
That was a little comfort zone that it's a familiar thing for you.
Yeah, I've never been too comfortable in barber shops. Mm-hmm. I used to go to them when I was a kid, and I don't think I was intimidated by the people in there because it mostly was just old men, and I'm sitting in there with my dad, and it's a barber shop across from the Strand Theater downtown Stanton.
Wow, the Strand. I don't have any knowledge of that.
It was a predominantly black theater in downtown Stanton.
Where the Dixie is now, or Visualite, or
no,
neither?
It was in that area where the coffee place, Cranberries.
Oh,
It
wow.
was in that section in there. It was a big, long building. And across the street where Lester used to have his coffee shop, across the street from that was the barber shop in that area where
Wow.
that thrift store was downtown. But I'd be sitting in there getting my hair cut, and they had those mirrors on each side, so it would go back. It was kind
Oh,
of,
right,
you know
that's
how it would
trippy.
go back and forth and back and forth.
Right.
You've got mirrors on both
Infinity
sides.
loop.
Yeah. That would scare the hell out of me. I'd think, what if I'm trapped in the 13th one? And
You only have to watch a couple of Twilight Zones to know the
Exactly.
potential implications of such a
Exactly.
situation.
yeah. watch Twilight Zone go that, you're scared to death.
I'll tell you what, I'm into this whole spring thing.
Yeah, well, tell us about your camping trip.
It was a wonderful camping trip. I officially earned my Greek fisherman cap by catching two gigantic rainbow trout out of that little pond they have there.
They were big. They were really big. Did you measure?
I wish I had measured them.
They were 22.
I tell you what, I could tell you, I didn't measure them, but they definitely went from one end to the other of my giant cast iron skillet. So if I get the dimensions of that thing, I could tell you how long that fish was. They were tailed, and that was with the head cut off. See?
Right. Yeah,
delicious.
That's a good fish, sure.
Boy, I tell you, I should show you this. I when I was cleaning one of them, I thought it was infested with a worm parasite or something. But we Googled it, and it was. They said no, that is a natural occurring phenomenon.
Huh.
Let me.
Eat up.
I shouldn't. Luckily, I'm not showing this to the to the show.
There was no animals harmed during this fishing event.
But at first, I was really concerned. But then we Googled it. You ever seen that?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
What
Never.
is it? Oh.
What is it?
I don't want to see it anymore. Wait a minute, you cut it open and that was in it?
Mm-hmm.
What is
I'd
it?
have thrown that thing back so fast.
Look, and on the other side is some beautiful roe. That I know.
Okay.
There's some good-looking eggs there. But I wish I knew the term for it.
Disgusting.
I wasn't the Googler, but apparently that's a natural. Some fish have it and some don't. Certain
Really?
species.
That's weird.
It's a little upsetting that you've never seen it before.
No, I've caught a few rainbow trout, but I've never seen that before.
Look at that. Did I show you that?
Oh, wow, that is big.
There's two of them on there. And that hat takes on a whole new meaning, doesn't it?
Man.
Let's see if I can get this in there. Oh, it's on manual focus. That's right.
Were they calling you Captain when you brought those up?
Well, you can. Oh, I wish it had been on autofocus just for this picture, because that is a great picture. It just makes me very happy. But it was, my only real complaint of our whole trip was that it was spring break, Cather's spring break, and we were out there. And out there at the campsite where we were, there was not a single sign of spring. It was still visually looked like the dead of winter. There's not a single leaf on a tree. There was not a single. We had more spring-like activity in our backyard than we did out there. Just that geographical location just hadn't got caught up in it yet. There was no sign of spring, so that was a little disappointing. But otherwise, there was still a nip in the air, but it was a nip in the air, not the other way around. It was a little cold, but it was still spring in the air a little bit. But I've been behaving myself ever since New Year's with my diet and drinking and stuff like that, and it was sort of fun to just go back to drinking and eating everything, all the donuts and Doritos, whiskey a man can handle.
I don't care what's in this fish, I'm eating it.
So
Let me Google it first. No, too late.
That was all fun. Wrote a couple of songs, or at least got a couple of songs. I don't want to jinx myself, but it's pretty amazing how on the tip of the tongue new songs are out there when we go camping.
Oh, that's cool.
And just going through the list from the last couple of years, like all the songs I wrote camping, I think would be a really fun album. They just all have a certain vibe. And just like the stranger shakeup of getting me out of my familiar element, just immediately the creative juices are flowing in a different way. It's like the spigot cuts on all of a sudden. It's hard to just sit here in such familiar space and create. Like you sort of need a catalyst. You need some kind of change.
I felt that way the other morning. I took the trash out. It's just good to get out in the world
Right.
and see that there is life out there.
You're just sitting down by the curb, writing in your journal. It's just
Oh,
flowing.
Well, I wrote it as soon as I got back. I had a donut and some coffee and wrote about that trip to the trash can out. And it was my new trash can.
Yeah, we got ours this week.
It was pretty damn exciting.
It was very exciting.
You know, the day before, that Sunday, my trash comes out on Monday morning. But yours does too. And so I was real excited. But all afternoon on Sunday, I'd been hearing thunder, just rolling thunder. But I'd look out and it was a clear day. It wasn't anything, I couldn't figure it out. And then the other morning there, when I realized that it was the sound of people taking their trash cans out to the curb. It makes so much damn noise.
They're huge.
And I woke this guy up that sleeps during the, he works at night, and I woke him up taking my trash can out.
That was me 2 miles away.
I don't, I didn't realize when we talked about the trash can. Did we talk about the trash can, or was that just
Not on the show, but maybe in person.
Yeah, it was on Facebook. Remember, I put a picture of the trash can and made a joke of it about how happy
The city
I
was acknowledging you
They
for
acknowledged for how much I'd been giving over the years, and they gave me a new trash can. I was very honored. But then I didn't realize that people were telling me that there's been a lot of complaints about the trash cans.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a whole big Stanton.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about that at the time.
Have you gotten on that Facebook group yet?
Yeah, I've been
Stanton
on it.
VA.
Yeah,
That's where all the action is on Facebook.
I can't take a whole lot of that either.
It's so funny.
I can't hardly stay on the Facebook. The ads have gotten just crazy. And every single thing that they try to sell me is something I don't want.
Right.
It's amazing how good they are.
Yeah, I made the mistake of, I saw this one ad for this thing called Crazy Clean. They said you can stick it in the back of your toilet and you'll never have to scrub your toilet again. I was like, well, I am intrigued, because that sounds like exactly what I want. And I made the mistake of Googling it or something. Now, I get like 10 Crazy Clean ads every time. I mean, it's just Crazy Clean, Crazy Clean, Crazy. I'm like, no. I mean, and the thing is, we went to really look into it and started reading reviews, and everybody without fault says it's complete BS. It's complete snake oil, does not work, doesn't do anything. It's all a fraud. So I'm even more upset now as all these Crazy Clean ads. But boy, it might even been within Facebook. I just had the nerve to watch the entire commercial, and now they're like, "Oh, we got him." It's like me out there fishing. I nibbled, so they are.
Oh yeah,
they are on me.
I mean, and how quickly that translates into. I mean, they know everything you're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
So before we move on, Kethra is in here saying the phenomenon that I showed you inside that fish was called pyloric cake, CAECA.
Oh, I didn't know what she was talking about.
Acacia,
What, acacia?
I guess.
Does that ring any bells for you?
No, I don't know what acacia means.
Pyloric acacia.
I was trying to figure out what that meant. The person above that said to you, "I like your shirt." And then I saw what Kethra wrote. I was like, is that what his shirt's called? I didn't know what she was talking about.
That's a pyloric acacia right here. You can go out to Belk's and just tell them you want to try on a pyloric acacia. They'll set you up. Trust me on this. See if there's
Was there anybody else out there camping, or was it pretty empty?
It was opening weekend, so it was almost no tent camping, but the RVers, that's just a whole thing. That's such a fascinating community. The RVers. I feel like there's people. Some live out there year round, or a lot of people come into these places and hunker down for a few weeks and then move on to the next one, and they have it's a whole culture.
No, when you're out there at night, like playing the guitar, do people wander over and want to talk to you, or they leave you alone?
Never had anybody wander up to no, which is interesting.
That's part of the reason people go camping is so you don't
Get away from.
you get away from that. I'm sure they have opportunities for people. And then, like you're saying, there's a whole culture though. Those people that are there for either half a year or just keep the camper right there. They know it's like a neighborhood. It's like a family. They know each other.
Yeah,
They're right there
100%.
for years. So
I think a lot of retired people just sort
Oh,
of like
yeah.
move into an RV and go from campground to campground, but for like a month at a time or whatever.
oh yeah,
Like, they're really
definitely.
hunkered
That's
down.
just a whole way of life. The nomads.
Interestingly enough, as I reflect back upon it, I don't think in all of our camping expeditions over the last few years, I've ever heard music coming from another campground, like people playing music
Right.
at another campsite,
Wow.
which is weird.
I might have told this story before, but me and my ex-wife, we had a single mom friend that had her hands full, and she had 2 young kids that we would just take out sometimes just to give her a break. And we took them camping a lot, but one time we took them camping, and they were playing with 2 other kids from in the campground somewhere. So this man came over and said, "Hey, I'm gonna take the kids." I didn't even look at him. I was like, "All right." I just sat. Then my wife came over and said, where are the kids?" I said, "I don't know." Some man came over and said he was taking. "Are you crazy? You can't just let him go." Some
Yeah.
man. What did he look like? I said, "I barely even looked up. I don't know." He looked like. I assumed he was one of the fathers of one of those other kids, but he did bring them back. Thank goodness. I'd have had hell to pay if they had gotten away from me.
I'd say.
The look on her face, though, was like a man came over and said he was going to take the kids. You just said, "All right."
Sounds good. Didn't even look up from whatever you were messing with.
I trust
Doing
you.
your crosswords.
Just let me enjoy this fire. My feet feel so good. Toss me a beer while you take them. Thank you.
Well, the fire was nice. Oh, I like that vibe. That was the one thing that was good about the nip in the air, being cold. The fire was necessary. So I really had a nice little task. Everybody, I'm a night owl, so I'm out there by myself. But I had a task. I had something. I had to keep that fire going. It was necessary.
It's funny. You forget how much. I mean, this is common sense. People are gonna say you just realize that. But like for Lex's thing, when you're standing by the fire, you're like totally like, man, you can stay here all night. You take like 5 steps back, like it's effing freezing out
Right.
here. It's like you're barely even away from it. It's just like freezing.
That's
out
what happened
there.
at Lex's birthday party
Yeah.
out there for me, because I was just hunkered down there, and not only the music but my proximity to the fire. I didn't realize till I stepped away from it at the end of the night because I could see it on y'all's faces in the periphery. I was like,
Right.
wow, they look really cold. And I was sort of judging y'all. I was like, God, weak
Weak.
sauce over here. Can't handle a little. But I just didn't realize I had such a nice seat next to that fire and was wiggling so much playing the music that it just kept me in a warmer state.
Catherine said your camper van Beethoven. That's why nobody else is playing any music.
Camper van Beethoven or was it a play on the words too?
Camper van Beethoven.
Oh, Nathan Bennett said that. Yeah, it's a
thought
good
Keith
name
said
to
it.
see. Good to see you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the show. So I guess everything seems to be working. I cranked the volume up. And if there's hey, tech support, if you're still watching, are we peaking out? Is it buzzing or does it just sound good? Talk to me. So you got your new trash can too, huh?
I did. I haven't even put anything in it yet.
Ours is filled to the brim already.
I have all mine in the old one. I don't know if I should just tell them to take it or if I should transfer it to the new one and save that for some special occasion.
Wait, you're wondering what to do with your old trash can?
Well, because it's got all the trash in it.
Oh.
And I saw if you write on it trash, I'll just throw the whole thing away for you.
Have you decided?
No, 'cause then they
Well,
also
they give you some tags. They gave you some tags with your.
right.
For extra.
But then they give you that guilt thing, like, or you could save it for other uses, you know.
Rain barrel.
Yeah, you really gotta throw it away.
I don't know what we're going to do with ours, because I do like our trash cans. Good. Best trash cans I ever had. Took me all these years to finally acquire some good quality trash cans, and it's just gone. Had to be repurposed somehow or another. But but you're in an interesting conundrum, because your trash is in your old trash can, and I don't know if you're allowed to stick that out. What will they do if you put that out there, but you don't write trash on?
That's what I was thinking. I think they would just throw it away, like take the whole thing and just throw it in the bag.
They might.
So, I mean, all I got to do is
I
pick
think
it
they
up.
would leave it. I disagree.
Yeah, I almost.
I think they
actually,
won't
if
pick
we
it
were,
up. That's what they're telling. That's what they're saying.
but you would
it's
be
not
in
in that
trouble for
can,
not
they're not gonna
using your
pick it
new
up.
trash can. I think you might just get arrested or something.
But if,
Now,
but,
if you put that yellow tag on
Yeah,
it, they'll take the
yeah.
trash. They'll take the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
which is what you should do. Unless you want to keep your trash can, then then take the.
What'd
trash
you do with
out.
your old trash can?
I think one of them is going to be a kind of a rain barrel,
Mm-hmm.
or at least a catcher of the rain at one place, and the other just goes in the windowsill like it has been for years.
Mm-hmm.
But I had notoriously lost all the lids to my cans, so I'm pretty happy with the can. The lids you can't lose.
You're right. It's on there forever.
So
Our town, I don't know if every town out there does this, but our town does this thing once a year that I'm just such a huge fan of, and that is, it's great timing. It's every spring, where they do a day of large trash collection. So if you have an old bureau or an old sink or anything that you can't throw out in your normal trash, you can stick it out by the curb, and they take it, and it's amazing. It's a wonderful service I feel like the city provides.
you know what's fun? I had some people, Joe, and we got some people over Saturday, and I took out a whole bunch of stuff, cleaned out the basement and everything, and put it out by the curb. And then that was Saturday, so my trash doesn't come till the big trash pickup was Monday morning or whenever they get.
Did
to
they
it.
already hit you?
They hit me about Wednesday.
Oh wow, yeah, they haven't come here yet.
Yeah, but maybe they haven't hit me, because what was fun about it is you haven't brought out is that there's a lot of people out there these days that
come around.
make their living.
Oh, yeah.
driving around looking at stuff like. And I love those guys. That's,
Me too.
I'm that guy. Yeah, and you're that guy. You're always looking for a bargain, and trying to find
Right.
that gold in the hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I sat on the porch and watched these guys pull up. Invariably have a pickup truck, because you got to put this, or a big van, but mostly a pickup truck. The old guy'd get out, and he'd usually have a younger guy, another guy with him to help him
For the
do
heavy stuff.
For the heavy stuff, and but he'd be looking around and analyzing. And those guys know, they know everything.
Pickers.
Yeah, they're pickers.
Yeah.
And so it was fun watching them act. And then, and they got through a whole lot of the stuff. So I say that they came and got the rest of it, because after Sunday, there wasn't much left work. They'd picked through it all weekend. It didn't take them long. It was fun to watch that.
It is fun to watch. Like every day I wake up now and like, okay, they haven't, the city hasn't come to get it yet, so we have another day to like find stuff to put out there. But without fail, I call them vultures, but I don't mean that disparagingly. The sweet vultures, beautiful vultures, have come and picked the good stuff out of what we put out there, and it's just it's such a fun little game of like sticking it out there and then seeing what people grabbed. And it's pretty much usually everything. Like there's a couple of things nobody's taken. Here's a big one for me. I finally, and it's hard to say it out loud, but my first guitar, I finally stuck out there.
Oh my God.
And I was really hoping a vulture would get it and not the city, because if the city gets it, it's just going to the landfill. It's just gone. Story over.
Right.
But if a vulture gets it, there's some story continues on out there. So my very first guitar in life, I finally stuck out there. I mean, it had been in our backyard for years, and there was no like restoring it or saving it, and it had all these stickers on it and had been painted from my high school days. And so it was pretty tacky. Look, it always just sort of made me chuckle, but it didn't add any cool aesthetic to our scene out there. So I finally, but it was a hard call, my first guitar, to stick it on a trash heap. But then I went out there the next day and it was gone. Okay. And I was like, all right, well, its story continues. It was such a funny thing. Like you could tell, like in 1981 or 82 or whenever this was, that my little 12-year-old, 13-year-old self was just like, any sticker was cool. Like it had 2 AAA stickers on it that I knew Mom just got it, and I was like, oh, it's a sticker. I'll stick it on my guitar. Like it was AAA. I mean, it's just so dorky.
Roadside assistance, here we come.
But I can just imagine that mindset back then. They were just, you didn't see stickers everywhere, and it was just like, oh, it's a sticker, it's cool, it's bling for my guitar. But the big sticker, like a bumper sticker that went above the sound hole all the way down here, it said, it's not how you pick your nose, it's where you put the boogers.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
You gave that away?
I'm going to predict something right now.
Please do.
I'm going to say that in, what is this, 2025? In the year 2075, that will sell at an auction for $1.4 million. A Nathan Moore's first guitar.
A nose picking.
I'm not sure these pickers appreciate the provenance of their find there. I doubt they have any.
No way you can. But here's the other thing about that picking thing. I think is interesting about what we're talking about here is that what you find is that one man's treasure is another man's junk. Mm-hmm. And it depends on what your perception is. You see that all the time when you go to your stores and you're looking for books and things. You'll find something that to you is worth, it's unbelievable find that you because you know its value or it's important to you in your life or your experience growing up. And whereas somebody else wouldn't think it's anything. It might be $1.50. So that's an interesting thing about what those pickers are doing, because they're predicting what is worth something to somebody else, even though they wouldn't give you a dime for it, or they might want it themselves.
Now, somebody says in Portland they call what we're talking about Reebok shopping.
Reeboks?
Reebok shopping. I'm not sure.
Like B-O-X?
No, like the shoes, Reebok.
Oh, wonder why.
I don't know, maybe.
I'm scrolling down the porch trying to find this. Here it is. So here's
Stanton probably don't even send anybody to pick it up. They just announce it. The pickers take everything, and then Stanton just goes, oh, we cleaned up a lot of trash. Didn't have to do anything.
Well, somebody came by and got all of it, so I assume that was the city.
Right.
So thank you, city.
So here's the.
Oh, wow, that is something.
I remember it.
You remember it?
Looks well loved.
And then, I wish y'all could see these pictures. Sorry, you can go on our Discord server and scroll up on the porch, but I got to show Dad and Kyle this. Swaby, I'm not even sure where he found this, but there's a picture of me playing said guitar back in the day.
Oh, my God.
Can you believe that?
Good Lord.
Got the same shirt on and everything.
I haven't changed a bit.
What's that shirt called?
Although my head looks huge in that. I was like, my body finally caught up to my head.
You were looking like a little kid.
That is a little kid. Oh, I can't even. I want to try to show it to this camera, but I know it can't focus on it.
Oh, it's not Reebok shop. It is Freebox.
Freebox.
Yeah, they corrected themselves, I guess.
Oh, gotcha.
Freebox shopping. Yep.
Oh, there's a lot of liberal towns. They started popping up about 20 some. I remember touring, and the town would have what was called a free box.
Oh.
And it was just like this area in town that if you had something like this, like an old guitar,
Right.
you take it to the free box,
Oh,
and it's
that's
just
cool.
you would love these. Because you have to hit them whenever
Right.
you're in a town.
Oh,
You're like,
yeah.
oh my God, they got a free box. And you just
Right.
go, and it's books, clothes, like, and instead of the Goodwill or whatever, people
Right.
take stuff to the free box.
Oh, that's
it's a
really
really cool
cool.
thing. Yeah,
You should do a show.
on tour. I remember like every town that had a free box, and there were a couple that were always good, like in Colorado, like rich towns or
Right.
whatever. Like, oh, we got to hit the Aspen free box. Holy moly! That's where I got that jacket or whatever.
We used to go University of Richmond, like when this at the end of the summer, at the end of the school term, they would have this big sale. 'Cause all the rich kids out there, they would just leave all their shit there.
Wait, where are
They'd
you
go-
talking about?
At the University of Richmond. When the kids would go home or graduate,
Oh, yeah.
they didn't take their stuff with them, so they had these huge sales, and you could just get like all kinds of cool, nice stuff out there for like dollars. You know, so nice. Like somebody left this, they're going back to some nice house. They're not going to haul this little table back. With
It's
them.
true. When I first moved to Austin, Texas, in my early 20s, I pretty much furnished my house by dumpster diving at the end of the semester when all the kids left for the summer. They all their furniture and stuff. Those kids didn't care about any of that stuff, so they would put it all around the outside of the dumpsters, and you could just ride around with like my coffee table and my couch, like all that stuff. I completely furnished my first apartment with end of semester college kids. Free box.
Problem is when you sit in that chair and it feels real nice, and it's got those worms like that fish heads. It's been out in the rain too long.
That's just pylori acacia. You're fine.
Oh man.
This is always a tough time of year because the first signs of spring always jerk me around quite a bit. Like you're like, oh right, okay, winter's dragged on for too long, and then you feel this, and then you put on your short sleeve shirt and you go out, and all of a sudden you're caught in the world, and the sun goes down and it's freezing. You're just like, oh my God, why am I so cold? When will it stop? Make it stop. You just always get fooled. It's like those first flowers that pop up a little too soon, and the frost comes and crushes them. And that's my spirit. That's my heart. I just want it full on. I'm tired.
Speaking of that, this is the opening day of baseball season.
Oh yeah.
Major League Baseball playing all afternoon. I got a game I'm taping now.
Did the Nats win?
I didn't see the end of it.
Ah.
They were doing pretty good. I think, well, I don't know. I think right before I left, I think they started losing. But I was watching 3 different games, so I was just switching channels. But I always thought, that baseball, the first day of baseball is like the beginning of spring and
Right.
the beginning of renewal. You're 0-0. You might win them all.
Yeah, this could be the
It
year.
doesn't matter what team you are, you're undefeated.
That's beautiful sentiment right there.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah, it does.
And
Maybe I'll get into the Nats in Nana's honor this year.
I was
Try to
thinking
follow
that
them a
today.
little bit.
I was thinking about her today when I was watching the ball game. Harper was one of her favorites, and he had a home run for Philadelphia against Washington today.
Oh, man.
Mom would have gone crazy.
She would have liked that?
She would have hated that.
Right.
One of her boys is playing for the Phillies.
Traitor.
Yeah, not to mention Soto's playing for the Mets now. These were the guys that a few years ago when I would go over and watch the ball games with her, and she got really hooked on the Washington Nationals, and it was so much fun. So today I was thinking about her when I was watching the ball game, And then Harper hit that home run. Well, Harper and Rendon and all those Nats. When they won the championship, she was right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
She loved her.
What a
Nats.
beautiful thing to happen.
Yeah,
right?
she got to know them, and
Yeah.
kept her company, and it gave us something to talk about when I would visit, and it was a wonderful thing.
There's a crazy amount of baseball games in a season, right?
162. That's
That's
real
insane.
crazy.
Like football is like less than 20 maybe, or is it maybe a
Football's
little...
once a week, but it's so hostile that your body gets beat up. So
Right.
that makes sense too. But I tell you what's impressive is the NBA teams. They play a lot of games.
How many games they play?
I
do you
think
know?
they play 60 some, and then they do this long playoffs forever. But that's a physically demanding game compared to the others. Well, compared to baseball.
Yeah, you're running the whole time. It's like a marathon. Basketball is like a marathon.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be an athlete. You have to be able to move your body quickly and do a lot of different things with it. It's a hard sport to master.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball and hockey. I didn't know hockey. Somebody said hockey and basketball have 82 games each.
No, 17. Oh, football 17. Oh, you're right. Hockey and basketball 82.
82.
Yeah, in football, they just added that extra game, like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah,
But you said 162 for baseball?
that's what I
was
remember.
thinking, too.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know hockey had that many. I've never followed a full hockey season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baseball's awfully good to me.
Is that your favorite?
Well, I don't know what I enjoy football to watch a game, and then probably secondly I watch basketball because it's quicker, there's more action and more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
But baseball is relaxing. It moves very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
You can mow the grass and have 3 Bloody Marys before the 5th inning.
Right.
It's just crazy how long it takes them to play.
Right.
So what's been happening in my life is good that I get all the stations now. So I watch 3 or 4 games at a time. So I just switch.
What's the 7th inning stretch?
well?
Wake yourself up.
That's
I mean, it's like, haven't we been stretching the whole time? You're like,
You get up and sing, take me out to the ballpark.
yeah. They always have a ritual, but it's just take a break for a minute. You're tired.
it's
get
like
up.
your intermission bathroom break.
Yeah,
like, even though the whole thing has a bit of a bathroom break vibe.
Yeah, yeah. You're not constrained for long. It takes them a long time to go between innings, so it's time to get to the bathroom.
Right.
No, it's just a ritual that they give. But a lot of times, like you say, they have a performance of some type of acknowledging something.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Cubs always did, take me out to the ball game with Harry Carey, and that's a child.
Harry Carey?
Harry Carey was the announcer for years, and then his son did it after him. But the original Harry Carey was famous announcer. I used to have a satellite dish out in the county, and I could watch the WGN out of Chicago carried all the Cubs games.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be, if you lived in Augusta County with a satellite dish, you got to be a Cubs fan. And they'd play every afternoon there'd be a ball game on, because they didn't play night games. So every afternoon, that's why I say I have memories of mowing the yard and then going in, checking every couple of innings and watching the ball game, go back, do a lap, and come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is good too, because like if you're not watching a basketball or football game and listening to it on the radio, you actually miss some of the game, like all this stuff. Baseball, a good announcer, you can just sit there on your back porch with a beer and listen to a baseball game. They can describe it so well. You can just like see it in your head almost.
You think it might be true for any sport? I guess basketball is a little too quick for a good radio.
Yeah, and you got so much going
but
on.
football works on the radio.
You can't really describe everything. Mm-hmm. Like
yeah, baseball is really one person at a time.
Like the
no matter
third
what.
baseman diving for the ball. He's got it, a beautiful throw over to first.
Right.
You really don't even know what happened, but you can see it in your mind. Yes! Mm-hmm. And it's gone. Ah!
But there's another thing with the baseball is that you talk about a baseball fan, the analytics. There's a certain left brain type. It's very esoteric, and they see the depth of it, and but they love the numbers. I've got a little touch of that myself. But you you study the numbers and the players, and the statistical part of it is fun. And so, a lot of people, you think very intellectual people sometimes that you wouldn't think like the sport at all. But if they like one, it's baseball because of that.
Well, as a gambler, what was your data set for determining where to place your bets?
Well, there were lots of variables for a ball game, but you're looking at home team. You're looking at the games that they have, the next game they have, and the game before, whether they need the win. It depends on the sport and everything, but in general, you're looking at how prepared are they, how badly do they need to win, and then you look at the line and you have to analyze, are they going to run the score up, or they have a revenge game, and then you have to look at the health of the players, the matchups of individuals. So it goes on and on.
Do you keep that kind of data still, or do you have a more pared down version of data that you're...
What I'm doing now is I don't gamble now. I play fantasy teams. So I build a team and compete against other people that build a team. So in my mind, I'm not doing the old-fashioned gambling stuff anymore.
Right.
And that's not because I don't want to. It's because I could get addicted to it if I don't watch out.
Man, we got some.
So I have been an addicted gambler, so I know what I'm talking about. But now I just play for a certain little piddly, not enough money to a quarter ante and play my games. But it gives me something to, just like Mom and watching her ball games, it gives me something to study and do. And I've been doing that since I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I knew all the baseball players' batting averages. All the baseball players' batting averages.
Right.
Listen to that.
Right.
8 years old, 9 years old, because I'd had all their baseball cards, and I would read their cards. And, just like some of the old records, you remember stuff.
Yeah.
No, not today, but back then I could.
I can just see the back of the baseball card now with those little statistics, your
lines,
RBIs, your average.
Go down there and look at that. So I'm doing the same thing now. Like when I'm analyzing a team, I pick a team off of, if two basketball teams are playing, I'll pick a team of 6 players. And they all have salaries. And so you can only spend $50,000. So you can't just take the 5 best players.
Right.
You got to spend your money and distribute it. And I'm trying to figure out some guy down here that nobody knows about that I saw play last night. So I watch the ball games and, or the recaps of the games and study and try to figure out how I can make a team that'll win.
So you pick a different team every week?
Every game.
Every
Right
game.
now I'm playing the NBA. Tonight, for instance, I have a baseball game I bet this afternoon. I played a game this afternoon of a fantasy. Ray Doan was my pitcher. He did.
So your roster comes from just the players of one game?
Yeah, I'm playing. It's a game. I'm playing the game when it's on. At the end of the game, I won or lost. None of, it's all self-contained in that game.
But you can use players from either team?
Yeah. You have to use players, at least one player from each team.
Do other people you're competing against have the same players as you?
Yeah, they're picking from the same thing. So
Is it possible that you both have exactly the same teams?
yeah, that can happen. Then
So
you
that's just a
split the
draw.
pot. You know.
Well, that's like the thing. He's playing like against a pool of 1,000,000. He's just hoping his picks are better than the other 1,000,000. Because if he picks, like he said, the guy that's been riding the bench for 10 years and he comes out and hits 50 points, his score goes
Yeah,
sky
and
high.
then I get those points.
That's fine.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. I don't know why we're talking about it. What?
This guy sent in, this is sort of sweet. Take me out to the ball game. We were talking about that. He was saying some of the themes of it are the love of baseball. It talks about baseball. It's nostalgia and tradition. Like you went, your dad had sung the song. Your grandfather had sung the song. It's escapism and fun. Everybody gets to stand up in the 7th inning and look around at your buddies singing the song. They've been drinking a couple of beers. So I guess it does have a reason. Elizabeth. Emily says hi to you. Do you know who that is?
Who's that?
Elizabeth. I don't know how you say her last name.
I'm not looking at the chats here. Let me.
Well, hello. I can't read. I'm sorry.
That's one thing y'all don't know about him. He was a school teacher and he can't read.
Oh, it's Liz Bunny.
Oh, hi, Liz Bunny.
She says hi, Steve Moore.
Oh, I love you.
Let's see if we all know the words. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Crowd? Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if we ever get back.
Let me root
Root for the home
team.
team. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
It's got a lot more.
Good job. I didn't know I had that in me.
Well,
Damn.
they said before Harry Carey. See if you remember this guy. Hold on, let me see if I can find it now.
I don't care if I never get back.
Jack Brickhouse. Do you remember that? Before Harry Carey?
Not really. Yeah. I don't.
He's a brick house.
And he's going out to the ball game.
I wonder what is up with that line. I don't care if I never get back.
Because you can stay there all night. You're just having
Oh,
such a
that's
good
true.
time.
I can stay there forever.
Yeah,
I love
this
how back in the day the double header.
Oh,
and the reason they had a double header is because one baseball game was just not enough. Like people felt robbed. And nowadays with our short attention spans, the time is. Do they even do double headers anymore?
Not very often.
We don't have the attention span.
They'll do a
But
day.
we-
we
day
can't
night.
do it anymore. We can't watch two. But back then, they made them out of necessity because one wasn't nearly enough.
But it's so
Isn't that beautiful?
It's crazy too. You watch those old films like the black and whites, and people are going crazy. They're in suits and ties and stuff at the game. Like they get
It looks
dressed
like
up.
all of them skipped work.
Yeah, like, don't worry, I'm going to work. They go
Exactly.
throwing their hats in the air.
all playing
and like
hooky.
nobody had like a Cubs hat on or anything. They all had like the Derby hat or something on, the business hat. Do you remember when did they start selling when did men start wearing like the hats of their favorite teams? Do you remember that becoming a theme or a trend?
No, I guess it was just gradual. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Because you see like Dennis the Menace or like the Leave It
Oh,
to
that's
Beaver,
true.
they've always got like a little flat baseball hat they roll up, put in their back pocket.
Uh-huh.
But you don't ever see like grown men walking around with a hat like that.
Mm-hmm.
Grown man walking around in a baseball jersey, like you'd be like, "What's wrong with you, fella?"
It's just the evolution of idiocracy to a certain extent. To see a grown man out there with baseball caps on and shorts like.
I love Bryce Harper. I paid $250 for this jersey. Oh man. Well, wasn't it last year we went to the baseball game?
Yeah, we went to one last summer. To try that again. That was good.
Wait, what?
We ought to do more on. We ought to get somebody to film us on site for some things.
Out in the world.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
there exploring.
Little Jabberjohn field trips
Yeah,
vibes.
there's a lot
You
going
know what's
on
coming
in
back?
Stanton.
You know what's coming back this summer that we missed last year that you sounded like you really missed? The micro wrestling.
Oh, goodness.
I think it's in June. It's coming back.
I guess it was a smashing success. It was, there you go.
I'm going to try to make it this year. I just didn't know how cool it was.
Now that you've heard the stories.
Take me out to the micro wrestling. I don't care if I never come back. I've been kidnapped and thrown.
Should we dip into our...
We should. Now that we...
Drum roll, please. This was a Christmas gift that Jabberjohn got of conversation starters. Is there anyone you wouldn't show compassion toward?
Yep, Donald Trump.
You wouldn't show compassion? No situation?
I'd kick him when he was down.
Yeah? You think that's true?
That's hard to say. I was thinking about that a couple of days ago. Somebody that I would actually, if I went up to him and he was in pain or they were in pain, I wouldn't clear my mind and help him. And he was the only person I could think of.
Do you think that's really true?
Well, I was very inspired because I don't know if you saw they sent J.D. Vance and his wife to Greenland,
Mm-hmm.
and they knocked door to door to say, can they come in so we can film it? And every single person they asked said, no, they can't come in my
Oh,
house.
wow. Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It'd be hard. I don't know. But I think that would be the only person I could think of.
Is there anybody you wouldn't? I mean, I guess, there's unique context for everything. Like, I can imagine there's some scenario where that wouldn't be true, but in most scenarios. But like if you just think about the question, is there anyone you wouldn't show compassion toward? Like, you need that's like a different question than like, in what scenario would you show compassion towards? It's like, it almost just makes you want to vilify somebody. It's not necessarily giving you a contextual thing to imagine. Is there anyone you wouldn't show compassion toward? like as opposed to like individuals, but like someone that's hurting someone I love, like in action, like not someone that has hurt someone I love, but someone who is actively hurting someone. That's not a time for compassion.
Right.
It's not, you know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
different ways of looking at that question.
Yeah.
What's your knee-jerk response to that question, or initial?
I'd say there are some people out there that I would not show compassion to.
Yes, is my answer.
The answer is yes. Yeah. And if you want to know who they are, I'm going to say that's none of your business.
I mean, I'm not a fan.
But if you keep asking me stupid questions, you're going to be
on the list.
You're going to be on the damn list. That's all I'm saying.
It's funny. I mean, the question doesn't have anything to do with what I'm getting ready to tell you, but it just brought up. I don't even know what I was thinking about. I was thinking about it today. We used to go camping a lot when I was first moved to Richmond in my early 20s. And one of my best friends, Marianne West, and her boyfriend, Jay Stanley, we would go camping at this place. First time we ever went there, she said, my brother's going to be there. I'd never met her brother. So, I loved her and I loved her boyfriend. So I thought this guy would probably be cool. So we pull up the river, and there's a big open grassy area. And you just see this dude leaning back against a tree. I didn't have a tent or anything. Leaning back against a tree, reading a book. And like one of those things, I never talked to the guy, I never saw him, but I just like fell in love with him. Like, oh my God, it's the coolest image I've ever seen. Just some guy sitting out by the river with a book. Came to camp, didn't even bring a tent or a sleep bag or anything. Just, I got my book. I hope y'all are taking care of me. I thought that was like the coolest. I was like, I would like have done anything for that dude. Just see him say like, you brought a book, yes. It's like, Didn't bring any food, nothing to do. I can't help you much, but I drove all the way out here with my
You see him
boat.
out there at night getting ready for bed. Just-
But just the way he was leaning up against a tree, there was like some Tom Sawyer thing or something. Like I guess I'd never gone out by the river and seen a guy just sitting there reading a book before.
New hero.
But if he had yelled, "I need help," I'd have run as fast as I could over there to show him some compassion.
Did you bring us any lesson plan or anything this week?
No.
No.
Another question,
All right.
and I won't yell out the answer this time.
Here we'll do it like this. You pick one, Dad.
No, he's gonna turn it into a magic trick. And,
I
and the
wish.
question you asked is, can you read it?
What's it
I'd
say?
have to change glasses. I don't.
Have you chosen not to purchase an item for moral reasons?
Well, sure. I ain't got a dildo in my house. I really don't. I never saw the purpose of mine.
And that's based on your morals?
Well, yeah. What else would it be? I don't know. I don't know much about all that stuff.
I feel like I was way more inclined to think like that when I was younger, which is weird.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean?
Well,
You don't care anymore?
That might be the right answer. I don't like that. I'm not proud of that. I just feel like I would have taken more arbitrary moral stances. Like,
Now, do you think that means because when you get older, you realize you not buying something's not really hurting the person you're trying to? Well, man, it ties into Tesla. All the people are not buying Tesla and stuff.
I'm trying to think of examples, but like definitely like not buying something for
Moral reasons. Give me an example of a moral reason.
I know Joe, your son, my brother, will not go to McDonald's.
For moral reasons?
Moral reasons, yep. I think it had to do from his world travels and just didn't like the vibe of the presence of the sudden McDonald's in strange places or whatever.
That's interesting.
Like
I like that.
the corporate reach of it. I feel like like some companies would do a bad thing or have a bad reputation, you would not buy their
I
products.
imagine some
Like
people are like that with Starbucks.
Starbucks,
Because
Nabisco.
they're just like that presence everywhere.
And when I was younger, I would hop on all those trains without even really thinking about it too much. Like, oh, we're not buying that. Like, I would get the memo and I would completely adhere to whatever it was. Like, oh, I heard they were bad, so I won't support that. And maybe I was just had my ear on that train track a little bit more when I was younger. I just don't see myself thinking like that as much as I used to. And there's a lot of things that I do buy that people I know, friends, are not buying for moral reasons today, and I am. ChatGPT is a good example. I have a lot of friends that refuse to engage with AI for multiple reasons, from its energy consumption to its implications for our future and what kind of future we're building, the amount of people it's going to put out of work in the very near future, I think. But I not only do I use it, but I pay to use it. So there's an example.
Now,
That's a good example. Yeah, when you say moral reasons, I have trouble thinking of, immoral, there's a whole lot of sex involved. in my thinking.
In your mind.
I don't have many.
is there anything you won't buy based on your immoral reasons?
I guess what I'm saying is I'm pretty morally solid in a lot of areas.
No doubt about it.
Maybe I have faltered some sexually along the way. And that's why I think when I think of moral reasons, I was thinking about anything that I would do.
It's like morally corrupt, or like the It's a more childhood idea of what morality is.
Well,
naughty.
I just don't need.
You think naughty?
I don't need to buy anything anymore.
Right.
It's passed me by. That question is not appropriate for my age group at this point. Not my age group, but my mental group.
Mm-hmm.
The over the hill bunch.
But I know lots of people that don't support, like, you know, like I won't buy those type of shoes because they're made by children overseas. Or, you
Well,
know,
the
I
whole
don't
thing
like
with
diamonds 'cause
Facebook.
they exploit workers.
The whole thing with Facebook's what you're talking about. I didn't think about that, but I have friends that have gotten out of Facebook
Absolutely.
for moral reasons recently, and I understand that, but I miss them. That was one of the things I was thinking maybe we could talk about tonight, was finding me a new vehicle. I don't think Facebook is serving what I'm trying to do in the world, which is just throw out a few thoughts now and then. All I see is advertising and self-promotion and angry people. Or
I don't think you're going to find a better one, though, for what you're looking for,
is that right?
unfortunately.
And the big part of it is I've lost a lot of friends too.
We can get you a soapbox to go stand on downtown if you want.
That's what I needed.
Bring back the soapbox.
That's what I needed, was a good smart ass answer.
It's so funny that soap used to come in big boxes that could support the weight of a person, and they were so predominant, or prolific, or what's the word I'm looking for? They were so available that you would call anybody preaching to a crowd standing on a soapbox.
Yeah.
But I'm more fascinated by these soap boxes.
Yeah,
It just,
I don't know.
it's
They're
like,
more
like
like
that embalming fluid box right behind you there.
Yeah, they were more crates than they were boxes.
But who gets soap in a big sturdy
A lot
wooden
of people back
box?
in that day.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Why soap?
No.
Hey, before I forget, I got to tell
There's
you
got to
something.
be a history there.
I got to tell you something that crashed me. Remember when we were talking about, you said the word quack or quackery or something, and I just thought that was the best term. And I said that they used to have quacks in town. You said chiropractors.
Right.
So, and I totally forgot about that until you were talking about the soapbox. So at work last week, this guy told me he had to leave work early. And I said, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to the chiropractor. And this is exactly what he said. I used to consider them all quacks. And I was like, oh my God.
Look, it all
I heard
comes
the
around
word
again.
twice.
Yeah, I don't make stuff up.
It's not, he didn't say charlatans or fakes. He had to use the exact same term you did.
That's what their first reputation was.
I wonder what here's another word I'm now fascinated with, the origin of that. Like, why quacks?
I don't know.
I mean, it's the sound a duck makes. We all know that.
I'm
but,
pretty sure that my father used that word.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old
think
word.
I think it goes back before my time.
Right. It's just to hear
But it's
you-
got to have an interesting
Yeah.
origin story. The fact that the sound a duck makes.
Yeah.
Is
What came
is
first?
Is it just somebody running their mouth without saying anything? Is that like a duck?
Quack, quack, quack.
Like the Charlie Brown adults? or
Oh,
something?
Whoop, 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 whoop. So your son Joe thinks you should be on Blue Sky. And I bet the friends you've lost on Facebook are on Blue Sky now.
Right.
You might, I mean,
Well, that's my idea.
I just feel
what
like-
what do you know about Blue Sky?
Well,
Do
I
you know anything
signed
about
up
Blue
for it.
Sky?
I'm on all
I
of
know a
them.
lot of my friends have gone over to it.
But have you checked? I mean, is it hard to get on? Can you get me on it?
We
or
can get
do
you
I-
on there.
Well, it's like Twitter, right? Or X or whatever.
But then you know you're going to have to amass a following or a friend circle again. You'll be starting over from scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, day one you'll have nobody seeing anything that
shouting in
you
the
write,
dark.
and that's the part where I feel like you're gonna step into a vacuum that you won't know how to fill.
Right.
Whereas your Facebook circles, that's like 20 years in the making, right?
This is like Homer talking over here. You're going to step into a vacuum and you won't know how to fill.
Well.
We're going back to the ancient Greeks now. Dear Steve, you're going to step into a vacuum. You won't know how to fill.
It's like Nietzsche. Maybe a rope
You'll
strung
be the-
across an abyss.
You'll be the Superman in there, taking on the world. Well, what he says is true. It is probably going to be discouraging if you put a bunch of good stuff on there and you think nobody
Crickets.
reads it.
Well,
So you got to do something crazy. You got to come out with a bang. That guy's a quack. I'm going to get all my friends to follow it.
yeah, I don't know.
Put a picture of yourself on a soapbox. That'll be your profile.
I mean, the friends I've got, like you say, I've accumulated them over a period of time. I figure, like you said, that the people that left me are still friends. In other words, I'll start like I did with Facebook with friends. And there maybe be some people that would contact me there that don't use Facebook. So who knows? But if it doesn't have all that advertising and stuff, and I'm not.
I mean, it is better on that front.
Yeah, I mean, and plus,
I can show you what the
Now, I don't know. Didn't Twitter, when it started, have like you could only put like
Here you go. I
162?
just opened the app. That's what you'll be greeted with. You're not on Twitter, so you don't know it's way more like a Twitter substitute. I feel Facebook is, like such a place to share. It's like your friend circle and you're sharing pictures of the kids and stuff. Like Blue Sky doesn't have that vibe. Blue Sky is way more like Twitter, like
what are people doing on Twitter and that? What are they putting on there?
a lot of it's very news oriented, sort of like the
Political?
public square, politics, news, opinions. I feel like it's more advocating and philosophizizing than sharing
a whole
sharing
lot of-
personal
A lot
anecdotes
of
or
stuff on Facebook is from a friend, but it's not an original thing. Most things are copied from somewhere else. Is that what Blue Sky does too? Are
I mean,
these
you can
original?
put anything you want on there.
I know, but
It's just what
seems
do
like
people
a lot
tend
of
to-
it's just putting other people's stuff up, posting other people's thoughts that they agree with, which is okay. But
What I think, yeah, I mean, I just don't think you would ultimately. You'd have to really get into something. Like I feel like you could have a blog, and then you could just share the link to your latest blog post in different places. Like,
well, okay, that's exactly what I was trying to pursue. What if I had a blog? Would I have to do it like have to show up at a certain time every day? And
no. And I feel like you could get a blog, like a Substack or something like that, to where you could have a button in there that you would hit that would share your latest blog post to Facebook and Blue Sky and all the places, and then not really
whoa,
engage.
Now we're talking.
But you still might be a little sad by the crickets you're about to, because people aren't that adventurous. They don't want to step out of their bubbles, whatever they're. So they might.
Yeah, but if I did it on that blog,
They would have to follow
but-
that link out of Facebook to go to your blog to read what you wrote, kind of thing.
Now, do people like if he wrote something? Would people respond to it, or they don't? They just read it. And there's no.
You could have comments on your blog,
But
but I don't think people would.
if I
do
wrote it on the
much.
blog, you're saying I couldn't just take that blog and send it to my Facebook account and publish it?
I know you could send a link to the blog. I'm not sure you could send the content of the post.
Well, like when you send out your notice on the afternoon of the show here, and I get it, does that go to all my friends too?
No guarantees there.
What's the policy? I mean, does it keep going?
It's
Like this is just general Facebook question. Like right now, I get if somebody, two friends, I have two friends. One of them has a birthday. If that friend wishes them a happy birthday, it comes up on my feed. Why?
Because you're following the friend.
Well, I don't get everything somebody writes to all of my friends.
You mean you just see it on your wall, though?
Yeah, if I go to my wall, between 5 ads for stuff I don't want,
Right.
I see these happy birthday, happy, from 3 different people to a friend of mine.
Right.
Don't be jealous.
Why,
that's
why
Facebook-
do I have to see
that's
other
Facebook's
people
algorithm.
wishing him a happy birthday?
Right,
Why do I have to see that?
Because Facebook's trying to pressure you into wishing them a happy birthday as well.
No, I've already wished. It doesn't matter. I might have already wished him a happy
And if
birthday.
you already did, that's another reason their algorithms are showing you that, because they know you.
So if you
So
don't,
what-
the algorithm shows you do it, and if you do, the algorithm shows you
Either
do
way.
it. But I'm saying
They're just trying to
I don't wanna
encourage
get-
your
I don't,
engagement.
Why should I get all that?
But what is it?
Period.
Well, like, so every time I put something on Facebook, it pops up, so you get it. Or like every time that you put something on, every time somebody responds to you, I get you back up at the top, so I can see everybody commented on you.
But did you choose to do that, or did it make? I didn't choose to see happy birthdays from anybody anytime. I don't want. How do I stop them from doing that?
You gotta stop following that friend.
Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is a little ridiculous.
Well, do you want to know where quack comes from, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if this sounds like one of those. What's that balderdash? What's that game where you make up?
Balderdash.
explanations? Wasn't that the
What?
game? Wasn't that the game where you give a word and you make up the definition?
Right.
He says it comes from the Dutch quackzalver, hawker of salve, or rather somebody who boasted about their salves, more commonly known as ointments. So somebody just,
Wait.
selling stuff.
Snake oil.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that quack? I missed the beginning, I think.
The Dutch.
Yeah. I can't say quackzalver.
It's a word or a person's name?
Yeah, from the Dutch. Yeah.
Oh, I
it's
gotcha.
It's a clipped form of the archaic term quacksalver.
It had nothing to do with ducks, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
It's completely
Yeah.
random.
Now somebody's saying you should get on Substack or subreddit.
What is that?
Substack would be the one if you wanted to have a blog.
What is it?
It's called Substack.
Well, I'll have to look into that for me.
But
and tell me that.
I don't. I
Well,
just-
see, here's the thing.
I
don't
feel like
think
you'd
you're-
have to be a little bit more ambitious than you're going to
thinking-
be.
See, what I'm thinking about is I want to put up stuff. Like I wrote a poem yesterday, and I put it on there, but it was a story that I made up in my head from a line in a song, and I didn't want, it wasn't serious, it wasn't anything, but I didn't want to forget it, and I had it, and I just printed it out. That's the kind of stuff I don't really, I don't need my Facebook friends to read that really, but I put it out there because I didn't have anywhere else
That's your
to put it.
place.
So if you look at it that way, instead of you're looking at it like I'm trying to draw a crowd, and I'm not really necessarily doing that. I see that what I'm trying to do is what I'm trying to do with this show. I don't expect us to have 10,000 people watching. I expect in 10,000 years this is going to be a cool show,
Right.
and old people will watch it to get away from.
Well, Substack is probably your answer.
Because like
Probably what you
Blue
want.
Sky, people aren't being creative on there, are they? It's more sharing information.
Yeah, it's a more Twitter vibes, not artsy. People aren't sharing their art.
I mean, yeah, because but also people there are some people that really like my stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the Facebook thing. I think you'll miss.
Well, I'm saying that I think some of those people will join me.
They would definitely follow your Substack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it does.
I'm
take a
not-
certain savviness for, like, most people aren't that savvy. Like tech support said, I would follow your dad on Substack, and he would for sure. But his name is also tech support. It's not, like your normal friends are probably like sub what.
But my normal friends aren't watching this either.
Right.
My normal friends.
Nobody normal's watching this show.
God bless them.
Bless your heart.
Wax.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone over.
You're
Look
part
at us.
of our family.
Now take me out there.
Well, thank you all for joining us for
Is
this
it
edition
over
of
already?
It's 8:34. Yeah, we've already gone
Yeah.
over.
Damn.
We're just finding our stride. It's good to be back in the saddle. It's good to be riding with you guys again.
I wanted to say I've missed seeing you guys.
Yeah,
And
for sure. It's
Yeah, I've
been
seen
too
him
long.
and I've seen you, but this is kind of a different vibe. And
Yeah, it's so
re-
good to be
it's
back.
But to do it this long, and none of us have had a fist fight or nothing. That's pretty amazing.
You had 96 episodes.
Yeah.
We should do something special for the
We do.
100th.
Like I do.
I don't know what it will be.
I'll
try to go back and compile some
I'm going to wear a
highlight
tutu.
reels.
That's what I think I'll do.
You'll what?
I'm going to wear a tutu.
All right.
You think that would draw an audience?
I'm not coming for moral reasons.
Good call.
Oh, and really miss Lex on the laugh sound effects with that one. I'll try to do some work and compile some highlights or whatever, a little retrospective for our 100th episode, our 100th
Oh,
show.
yeah, let's just say before you get to the song, we miss you, Lex, and hurry back.
Yep.
I hope they win the ball game.
If our 100th episode will only be available on Blue Sky, so
OnlyFans.
We're kicking off. I'll take us from 15 down to 3.
on episode 100, we'll all have our socks and shoes off so you can see our feet before we'll do the 100th episode.
Now that's moral reasons right there. Now,
Heather says, please don't wear a tutu, Steve. She's just cute. Why did you say that? Don't we all want to see that?
you know, I got a little roll of nausea myself.
All right, here's one that was coming to me out there in the woods. I'm not exactly sure where this one's going yet. This will be a good little revealing performance of it. A soldier and a poet were sitting on a stone. One was by himself. One was all alone. The poet said, I'm certain one day we all will live as one. The soldier said, someday, when all the killing's done. Time came by and sat a while, till all three disappeared. Now I'm walking along this crooked mile with a cold bottle of beer. Wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. But we're here. One day the king sat upon his throne, knowing full well that we'd all be better off if he was overthrown. What can I do to help? Thought he. There's no place I can go where I won't be the king, where I won't need to be overthrown. Yeah, kings are kings, rings are rings, things are things, and spring. Wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. But we sing alive. We that part's supposed to be a sing-along. I think it sounds a little silly when I'm by myself, but maybe next time it comes around. Well, we all know there's something better, that there's bigger fish to fry. The real question is bobber, spinner, or fly. Once you know the answer, then you know the reason why there ever was a question. Try, try, try. Which brings us back to the beginning, and me hoping it never ends. My love, my family, you strangers, and all my friends wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. Wouldn't say we made it. Let's sing it again. Alive. We are, we are, we are alive. We are, we are, we are. I don't know if that's a good one or not, but that's how it goes. That's how it came to me, so that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a good one.
Thank you all so much for being with us. We will see you next time on Jabber John. Awkwardly, I have to get up and walk over there for us to actually go off air. But oh
Keep
wait,
your morals.
wait, I got a button here that'll help. Keep your morals. Yep. Here we go. Bam.
We did it.
Look at us, 8:41.
Man,
we're just getting our stride
A little
too.
something extra over the 96. Yeah, the 100th one's got to be a 2-hour multiple.
Yeah, what are we gonna do for the 100th? There's gotta have some fun with that.
The cats are like shooting fireworks down the steps.